Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win, you find a way to lose. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that like button. But first, let's understand something. I think the secret society is trying to destroy Devin Haney. And I don't think it's cool. We create content as boxing fans. We're going to have healthy dialogues. Some of the dialogues are toxic, but we're going to have opinions on boxing. But the things that people are saying about this 23, 24, I think people are forgetting how long he's been on this planet and what they were doing when they were 23 or 24. So, as far as Devin Haney and Lomachenko in the fight, the stuff that's happening with Devin Haney and this whole secret society thing, right? It's been going on for a while. Before I dive into that, let's understand something here. Devin Haney outlanded Lomachenko around 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 8, and 9. Okay? So no matter what you feel about the fight, and I still take this with a grain of salt, the bottom line is, since so many people are saying numbers don't lie and stuff like that, I just showed you, man. I didn't create that. So, that being said, he beat Lomachenko. Just leave it alone. But what I don't like is how this young man at 23, right? The way he's being attacked. I mean, on ESPN, on other sports media outlets, social media, etc. And what I'm talking about, I'm not talking about someone saying, oh, this was a robbery. We're going to have opinions. Devin Haney can handle the fact that some people think it was a robbery. What I'm talking about is the name calling, the insults. Also, professional ex-retired boxers, right, who didn't do a tenth what Devin Haney has managed to accomplish. Okay? You can't get mad at him. Well, I guess you can, right? But it's not fair, in my opinion, to get mad at him because the stars happened to line up for a one-stop shop for him to become an undisputed champion. It's not his fault. Because most of these other fighters, active and retired, trust me, if they would have had the opportunity to, if something fell into their lap, like it did for Devin Haney, and they took full advantage, they would have done it too. That's like knowing someone who invested in Bitcoin when it first dropped and being mad because they're a billionaire now because they held on. They didn't do much of anything. Dropped $100 when it was at 0.000000000 whatever. And got themselves millions of Bitcoin, probably trillions. And now these guys are sitting here, zillionaires. Can't get mad at them, okay? But when I hear Antonio Tarver says he's watching the fight, and when he's looking at Devin Haney fight, saying something along the lines that he doesn't see someone who's qualified to be the undisputed. When you sit here and watch these guys from in Hollywood saying Devin Haney, Lomachenko was robbed. So Devin Haney, no matter where he goes, because Devin Haney's he's not a common man anymore. And what I mean by that is, he's not the guy you're just going to see chilling in the neighborhood. You're not just going to see him walking through the mall by himself. He's put himself into a different position. Financially, socially, everything. And also, it's just smart. And when you get to a certain point in life, you just got to be very intelligent with what you're doing. But he can't go from Hollywood to Hollywood and everything in between. Athletes, actors, musicians, what have you, right? He can't go anywhere at age 20, 24, I think? At age 24, and escape this nonsense about how he doesn't deserve to be champion. Now, what really gets under my skin, now I'm going to tell you, right, because I'm fair, calling this man ugly, people posting pictures of him like he's a monkey. We already know polymyalgia is a joke, right? People out here saying stuff about him. And as far as all that hard work that he's put in, all that sacrifice that he's put in, right? People not wanting to give him credit for doing the business. But what really stings me is that stuff about, I get it, jokes, sense of humor. I have a great sense of humor. It's not many things off limits to me. I'm going to tell you that right now. But I think people are forgetting, we're talking about a 23-year-old man. What are they trying to do to him? 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30, 40, 50 years from now, this stuff that's being put out there, he's still going to be able to access that, man. Hold on one second. Those kids, man, they're making noise. He's still going to be able to access that. And that's not something you want to see. But that being said, because I'm fair, I'm going to tell you, I have some issues with Devin Haney. As far as him being a fighter, he's an exceptional fighter. I don't see how a person can not get his man credit. But my issue with him, but I got to remind myself all the time, I got to check myself, man. I was young once, and I was way worse than Devin Haney. You know what I'm saying? Not at 23. At 23, I was still crazy. But teenage years, up till about 20, maybe about 25, 26, little bit of a fool, okay? But for Devin Haney, he got to understand there are going to be some consequences when you're getting on social media and you're tweeting crazy tweets, a lot of profanity, racial epithets, you know what I'm saying? Attacking people, making fun of people. So the way I feel it, hey, if you're going to be Al Capone, go all the way. And you can do what you want. Be ready for the consequences. So a lot of this is backlash. A lot of this is the consequences of some of his actions. His dad's actions. His dad can be a fool too. But at the same time, some of the stuff just goes way overboard. Way, way overboard. And I think it's important when you have a young guy like that, because you may say, well, man, why do you care? Well, I can't help but pay attention to that, especially when my whole thing was developing people for a long time. And I've seen when you get those young people come in, who would come into my sections, right? And you can see the ones that just needed a little bit of the right mentoring. And I've had people come in there, great families well off, families not so well off, and the in-between. And you see those coming in with the entitled bull crap. And you see the other ones who really like, I have no other options. And then you get the in-between. And at the end of the day, you still have to guide and mold and mentor him. And when I watch his dad carry on out here, I see pros, but I see some cons to the things that his pops is doing. And I'm not saying his dad's right or wrong. I'm just telling you, for me and my value system, when I watch some of that, I'm like, okay, Pops, that's not really the kind of example I think you should be setting. Behind closed doors, anything goes. But once you come out here on social media and doing it, saying things and acting the kind of way, that stuff lingers, and it can affect your brand. It can affect how you receive. And it could put you in position like he is now with a secret society wants to destroy him. Let me tell y'all something. Maybe it wouldn't have mattered. Maybe it would have mattered still if maybe Devin and his dad weren't so vocal. And what I mean by vocal is being so brash and disrespectful and aggressive and ridiculous. Maybe had they not been that way across social media and everything, because let me tell you something, man. I'm telling you, this is a fact. You'll have people who you're dealing with who can affect outcomes in your life. And they'll smile in your face. They'll sit there, man, and have you thinking they have your best interest in mind. And the whole time, they're watching you and judging you, and you don't even know it. You have no idea. And their whole thing is to bring you down. And you don't even realize it. But these are the people who you trust, you think part of your support system. And their whole goal is to set traps and bring you down. And when I look at the fact that they hit Devin Haney with a $400,000 fine, I said, that's crazy. When I look at the fact that Bob Arum was telling the world, you'd be a fool to bet on Devin Haney over Loma. When I look at Bob Arum kissing Lomachenko on the cheek, come on, man. What the fuck is that, right? I don't normally cuss, but yo, come on, man. Bob Arum kissing this man on the cheek. That's when, you talk about taking it to the stupid. When have you seen Bob Arum? You ever see Bob Arum hug Devin Haney or kiss him on the cheek? Drink some coffee to that shit. But when you see those kind of things happening, man, it's unfortunate for Devin Haney. And now he's sitting here and he's frustrated. And I understand, man, you know what? Sometimes you don't have to respect the person, but you should respect the position. So with Bob Arum, Devin Haney, you know what? You don't have to respect him, but respect the position and what he did for you. Conversely, Bob Arum, you don't have to respect Devin Haney or his dad, but respect the position that he put your business in by coming over, having successful fights with Kambosos twice, and not having what many would say was a successful fight with Lomachenko. Okay? Bob didn't lose money on Devin Haney across 3 fights. So to me, that's a win. Okay? But with Devin Haney going forward, he got his hands full. He's stressed, man. He's a young man. For those of you saying Devin Haney's fine, he's not stressing, I'm telling you he's thinking about all this crap. I'm telling you it's bothering him. Watch after that Linares fight where he was like, hey, how's my power? Do I hit hard? Tell me, how do you rate my power compared to so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so? It's like, what? I've been watching it thinking, what is he worried about? And I was like, oh, okay. This stuff gets to Devin Haney. He's sitting there worried about that. He's looking at Tank Davis and how everybody's like, Tank Davis will tranquilize you. Tank Davis hits harder than Deontay Wilder. He's looking at everybody talking about Shakur Stevenson. He's the best pound-for-pound fighter. He's a once-in-a-lifetime talent. He's unbeatable. These are some of the adjectives being used to describe Devin Haney's peers. When it comes to Devin Haney, what are the adjectives they use to describe Devin Haney? Lucky. Ugly. Right? Inadequate. Horrible stuff they say about Devin Haney. Man's only 23. I can give you a couple adjectives to describe Devin Haney. One, when you get beyond the fact that he's 23 in social media and still hasn't realized that Twitter is the most toxic place in the cyber world, like, don't go on Twitter. It will make you say something. I think he's pretty respectful. I think he's committed. I think he's dedicated. Okay? I think attitude-wise, he has the right attitude and discipline. But when it comes to all the tomfoolery that goes on as far as him on social media and saying things, and I say the word I use to describe that is young. And I've gotten frustrated with that, especially with the whole thing with the religion thing. Allahu Akbar, then come back and cuss and carry on and the ridiculous language. All in the same goddamn tweet. But that's something that kind of hits home with me. So, but I'm not here to talk about that. And I'm not here to judge him. I'm just saying it's like, yo, you need to make a few refinements and things open up even more for you. But I just think we need to sit back and understand the same way there's this outpouring of support for Lomachenko. Let me tell you something, right? There's a whole lot of support for old Lomachenko. Look at him there crying. And he deserves to be supported. The stuff Lomachenko went through, man, I've seen people saying horrible stuff about him. That's not cool. But Lomachenko deserves to be supported the same way. The war, losing family and friends, all of his investments in Ukraine, coming back to the States, realizing that, you know what, I lost, it was close. He feels it was close, but he missed the opportunity to fight Kambosos because he did the commendable thing and go fight for his country. All of that's eating up Lomachenko. The same way we'll come to support him. Doesn't matter circumstances. The fact is, Devin Haney is 24 years old, young man, still growing, still developing. And for those of you who want to attack him, right, especially if you got a little gray in your hair like me, stop for a second and think about what you were doing at 23. Maybe some of you guys were crossing T's, dotting I's, and your shit didn't stink. I'm telling you, man, up until that point, man, I was a little bit of a fool. And I could understand him and some of the mistakes he's making. But he's got the right people around him to make those, to advise him to make those corrections, because he's right there in front of he's a public figure now. And that's why people are so hard on him. But I just think this shit about Monkey and this shit about saying he's dumb, this shit about just continue to attack him, say he's inadequate. So look, I personally think he loses to Tank. I personally think he loses to Shakur Stevenson. But there's four, to me there's four, I think 4 elite at 135. But let's just boil it down to 3 that we all talk about. There's 3 elite at 135. I think he's the weakest of the elite, but he's elite. And he needs to be recognized and praised for that. When he first started fighting over there on Matchroom, and you saw what he was doing, amazing. But the competition's getting stiffer. And as it gets tougher, these guys aren't going to have those performances that we've grown accustomed to. Floyd Mayweather, you could say, well, he was the exception. He still had some tough fights. Floyd Mayweather didn't just walk through everybody. He had some bad patches in some of his fights, but he still found a way to win. And Devin Haney is finding a way to win. But what I don't want to happen is for the secret society to destroy this man, because he turned pro at 17. By the time you guys realize by the time Devin Haney is 30, probably 30 years old, he'll probably have more fights than Canelo. Canelo's like 30, early 30s. But Devin Haney will probably have more fights than Canelo by the time he's 30 than what Canelo has now at like 33. Y'all realize that? So with that being said, man, we'll see what the future holds for him. But mental health is extremely important. And I know for a fact this stuff is taking a toll on Devin Haney. And we'll see how things go over the next coming years. But what I don't want to see is if he loses, when he steps up and fights a big hitter like Tank, or he goes in there and fights a Josh Taylor, if that happens, a Rolly or a Teal. Well, I don't want to see people celebrating. And if you want to celebrate, you know, at least wait till the guy gets about 33, 34 and he can process things a little better and handle that a little better. He's a young man. That shit's going to drive him crazy. You don't want to do that to him. No matter what you think, Devin Haney ain't ready to handle life. No matter how mature he thinks he is and how close he grew up with his dad, there's some experiences this man can't possibly anticipate, prepare for, or know how to handle because he hasn't gone through it. But he's going through it now. He's getting experiences now. And if he can push through that and come out forward tough, he'll be all right down the road when shit get really ugly. But that being said, y'all keep cool, taking the man's money, looking to force a rematch with Lomachenko on him. Horrible, man. Everyone calling him names. Yeah, man, they need to knock it off. And even Rolly Romero is a little bit foolish. Some of the stuff is funny. I like to laugh at some of the craziness. But I just think this is too much. Like, it's a lot going on right now. It's too much. It's too much. I can only imagine what it's like for him to try to go to sleep. His mind shit just popping everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Just firing. Brain cells firing. That ain't cool for 23, man. 24. And you may say, well, he's not the only one. I'm not saying he is. I'm just telling you for me. I'm talking about Devin Haney. I don't care what you're talking about. I'm talking about Devin Haney. I just don't think that's right. But that being said, man, y'all keep cool. Let's see what happens. But I don't want to have to read a story about this man down the road where all this stuff over the years. Like, when has Devin Haney been cheered? You tell me. When has he been cheered? I'm talking about like, everyone goes crazy for him and happy for him and loves to see him. Good job, young man, your accomplishments. When has he felt that from a crowd? Okay? When has he felt hate, animosity, disdain from a crowd, from fans? When's somebody going to say something nice about this man? Don't get me wrong. If we're talking boxing, hey, Devin Haney, man, shit performance. Hey, Rob, blah, blah. That's fine, but I'm talking about personal attacks on this young man. Anyway, that concerns me. I personally don't like it. But I have to remind myself, too, he's young. Some of the mistakes he shouldn't be making. But there's some things he's going to do. And don't get things out your system to sometimes with a little bit of age, a little bit of life experiences. You start looking at things differently, reacting to things differently. And at 23, I can't expect him to react the way I would at 48. You know what I'm saying? And you shouldn't either. That being said, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans, all 7 continents. If we're going to support him and feel bad for him, try to make sure we get him back on his feet. And there'll be an outpour of support for Lomachenko. Let's make sure we give an outpour of support for every fighter out there who are going through the same thing, kind of like Lomachenko, where they really don't know where to turn at this point. Because Devin Haney, he may not be showing it, but I know he's feeling it. But as this continues, where he continues and he thinks he can get used to being booed, you're going to start to see Devin Haney show it a lot more. And it could go the wrong direction. And that's what we don't want. That being said, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans, all 7 continents. I'm in the breeze.